some reason my internet does not want to give me web pages.
Make sure you plug your iPad in too.
I did. That was once was enough. I made sure it's been plugged in all day today, so it's at 100%. So even if we lose power because our modem has a 2-hour battery on it, even if the power goes out, I'm good. Assuming my laptop will actually, connect to websites. Oh, first we'll attack. Turn it off, turn it on again.
Wear a costume for you guys. I want you to know that's how dedicated I am.
Oh, look at that.
I almost went full makeup, but I'm not doing that. I like you a lot, but no.
It's okay. I also like you people a lot, but I'm not getting in a furry suit, so.
All right, we are live. Welcome back, everyone, to Johanna Gaming's Forbidden Lands, Raven's Purge campaign. We have with us tonight a guest player who those who have watched the show and the epilogues might recognize. The players have not met this character before, who will join the scene at a dramatically appropriate moment. I got to say a Jason Carl thing. Do you want to introduce yourself, Steph? Just as your name, but not necessarily the character?
Hi, everybody. I'm Stephanie. I'm very happy to be here tonight, and I'll be hanging out until you need me.
Awesome. And our regular players, Jessica is actually the first one on my grid here this time, but on the screen, as always, it's Josh, I suppose. So, yeah, there we go. The grid looks perfect for me now.
Josh LaPointe, playing Brainer, the half-elf sorcerer.
And Jess?
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm playing Frida, the bloody demon slayer, Wolfkin.
I'm Chris. I'm playing Soren, the human forester. Slightly less grumpy now that my pride has returned and my ankle is almost healed.
Indeed.
I'm Michaela. I'll be playing Big, the big little bard.
And B will, of course, join us shortly, as per usual. So, when we last met our heroes, first before, right, I'm not in that headspace today, clearly, so I have I know half of what I'm doing. As I usually say at this point, shout out to Hellhag Productions for designing the awesome overlays. Most of the maps, but not actually anything that we're going to see today, I don't think, for once. Dun dun dun. And as I always say, this show is rated R. It is fantasy western, as if directed by Quentin Tarantino. So viewers should be aware of that. Right, so where did we leave off last session? You had been traveling across the lands from Westport to Reddale, and you had a bit of a run-in with a griffin, or, well, it tried to eat you or the fish that you were collecting, and that didn't go well for it. And then you had a huge feast in Reddale, where everybody ate the griffin, or at least the locals did, and you made quite some money off of that. Celestial Passage had a conversation with a local lady there who gave you a piece of advice. There might be work for a druid in the Eye of the Rose. Then you did some training and whatnot before you set out. And the last thing that happened was basically that you had a miserable night in the Foylan Mark Forest because you couldn't find a good campsite. And now it is morning of the 22nd of Springrise. And after that miserable night that didn't give you any sleep, at least nothing attacked you. But here we are. It is the morning, and you're very close to the Eye of the Rose. So, I can't hear you, Chris. I don't know why that is.
Does anybody have an actual plan for when we get there?
Break in and steal the thing.
Do you know where the thing is or what it looks like?
No, I assume I'm gonna have to kill a bunch of orcs on my way in.
I figure we would have ran into our elven friends back from Talmoran at this point.
Yeah, where's the giant tree? You figured that'd be hard to miss.
Heck, we could have slept under it last night and wouldn't have noticed any difference.
It probably would have woke us up.
Yeah,
So-
there's no sign of the elves at this moment.
Jokes aside, are we going in metaphorically smashing heads, or are we going to let Bieg try and talk her way through?
I suggest we talk through our problems, but you guys have a definite penchant for getting into trouble. For sure.
I will let you talk up until the moment the orcs try to eat you.
Or totally carry and try and put you on one of those spits and cook you?
Yeah, that's going to be an awful lot of orcs if we bring the town down on us.
This is true. Although big is a little bite-sized, so I'm just saying.
So we're going to try the diplomatic route for once?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then if they break up the toothpicks, then we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Didn't Celestial say something about them giving him a job offer?
Something like that. We might be able to use that as a way in.
Worst case scenario, we have a town of people on our side we could bring along with us if, something goes bad.
They like us. I don't know if they're willing to fight for us.
By the look of them, they need any entertainment they can get.
They did outlaw alcohol.
That was in Westport, not Reddale. Reddale was very, very wet. They had a good party.
Oh, whoops. Sorry, I'm still not over them outlawing booze.
There's one hill she'll die on.
I was very distraught about that. Yeah, that is a hill that Freda would die on.
Kill any man who stands. Take away my liquor,
Right. So, at long last, I guess you're grabbing your packs and trying to force your heavy by sleep legs to walk the final part of your travels. It shouldn't be more than, say, 20 kilometers. Each hex is that long. Could be less. You shouldn't be too far away. This morning is cloudy. No rain, but also no sun. And as you start out on this road, which must be heavily traveled, judging by all the tracks, this isn't an engineered road as such necessarily. There's no pavement on it, no stones, no stonework. But it's definitely heavily used, so whenever there's a big puddle, you'll just have to walk around it. And where this Eye of the Rose might be is hard to tell, because you're getting into some fairly dense forest at this point, so you'd have to climb a tree or something to be able to see very far beyond the next curve, basically, in the road. But as you've been walking there for a little while, when out of the foliage on one of the sides comes someone you'll recognize, Margoline. As always, they're dressed in foliage, leaves, vines. There you are.
We were wondering when you were going to show up.
We have been in our position for a couple of days now. We were wondering when you were going to show up.
Sorry for the tardiness. We had to make a couple of different stops along the way.
Hiding in the foliage is not exactly an easy way for us to find you, so, give us a little credit.
At any rate, there might be trouble ahead. We'll have to use time wisely. Al Surso, you know his temper, yes? You noticed, I'm sure.
Isn't there always trouble?
Well, Al
Like-
Surso wants to do this by simply doing a raid. A military raid. Blood will flow if he gets his will.
I don't think that's going to work.
That's...
I mean, I'm all for smashing skulls, but I think we're a little outnumbered.
He's already trying to convince our leader that we should do this. Ulmaya is his lover, and he does have her ear. So far, I've been able to convince her to wait, but Al Surso does not trust you, and feels like you will not even show up. Do you have a plan for...
Celestial, work your magic.
I'll do my best. I can't keep him away from this idea forever. Do you have a plan for getting in?
Well, I wouldn't call it a plan, more like an idea. We're looking... They said there might be work for a druid here, and Celestial Passage is a druid. So we're hoping that we can somehow make that work for us.
Very good. I think you should definitely try it first. There are other ways as well, if we need to. And our place of hiding is underneath the cliff. In what used to be the city, there is a park. It's no longer a park, of course, but it was. And if you need us, we will be there. Now, I have something for you if you're trying to get employment as a druid. And they reach into the foliage, apparently there are pockets in there, and brings out a very large ruby. This is an exact replica of the one we want. If you can switch them out, you should be able to leave without anyone noticing that anything has changed. They will give it to Celestial Passage, actually.
Why were we not given this sooner?
Just in case we ran afoul of people on the way.
Do you happen to have any more of those, for afterwards, just in case we need to go to the store or anything like that?
Seems like it would have been super helpful in the plan development part, knowing we would have had access to it.
We were going to meet here. That was the plan all along.
It's okay.
Good luck.
They
And
didn't
you
know
know where to
everything
find
we were
us.
planning either.
Fine. This is fine. Everything's fine.
And with that, Margoline moves back into the foliage again. And leaves you alone on the road.
Let's make haste.
And so you do. It is, in fact, a completely uneventful walk. Would be very nice if the stakes were not this high. As you get to the Eye of the Rose. And this is the Eye of the Rose. You will be approaching from around here-ish. This is a wall that runs around the encampment, and you're coming to the road here, basically. And you will notice on the walls how familiar the architecture is. It looks very much like Thamorin, only decayed. Not maintained for possibly centuries. But it's still standing. And, well, make a long story short, there's not too many guards down by this particular place. You'll be able to see smokes rising from up here, in particular.
Lead the way, social people.
Onwards and
Up you go.
upwards.
Up you go.
So yeah, let's get in action. Let's get in gear.
All right. Well, it's a
Pitter
simple
patter.
climb to get up to the fortress gates. They gape towards you like a maw lined with iron teeth. There's a couple of stout orcs there standing guard. And there is an alarm bell just inside that raised portcullis. And there's maybe a couple of dozen of orcs. There's trading going on outside. Not just orcs, mind you. There's a few humans. They're like a small troop there. A couple of jesters who are trying to make some coppers from the orcs to entertain them. And as well as, in fact, you will probably notice Esgar Farthing that you met in Westport and his group of adventurers that are loitering around there. And also maybe a few dwarves there selling their wares to passers-by. It's a quiet market, or I should say not very crowded market. Quiet it is not. But by the gate anyway, there are a couple of orc guards there.
Okay, I'm gonna be AFK for a minute. I gotta move to my desktop because my laptop is not connecting to Roll20.
Eee.
Okay, the videos run through separate machines, so that's fine.
Oh, that's a good
It won't. It won't screw up your stuff. It's just gonna be. I'm just gonna be moving around here for a minute.
Yep, that's okay. I guess the social person is taking the lead, because Soren wouldn't anyway.
Yeah, that's definitely the plan. Since there are at least tradery people that I know, I'm gonna try to approach somebody who looks like they're trying to sell something and attempt to chat them up in a way so as to not warn the alarm bell that's pretty close to us.
So that's the okay. You go up to the traders. Yeah, they're selling all sorts of various, general trade goods, simple tools like what you need for farming and hunting, and just carpentry and all sorts of craftsmanship. Yeah.
I have an idea. Actually, I would I be able to see a fishmonger or something like that? Chat them up about the boatman that we found in the other city, perhaps. Connections.
There would be possibly. They would be selling dry fish, because this is a bit far from land, if you will. But I can think that there would be maybe an orc trader doing exactly that. Yeah, peddler.
Yeah, so that, in my opinion, that would probably be ideal. Maybe talk them in. Hey, I got a source on some good quality fresh fish. You know, we, they kind of owe us, so we might be able to, use that as a little grease.
For sure. Is this grease to get inside the castle? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, because, well, judging by the look of these guys, we probably still smell like the fish anyway. So that's that's a
little
good
bit.
Yeah, it's a good excuse in my opinion.
A little bit. Yeah, you start trying to chat up some people around there, and as you do, Esgar will actually come walking up to you guys again. Fancy running into you again, huh? What are you doing here?
It's a small world, isn't it?
Well, I was traveling south anyway with my group. Gonna take me up on that offer yet? There's treasure involved.
Well, we have a bit of a side mission, so to speak, while we're in town. If you can give us a hand getting in and potentially out.
Getting in?
We'll
you only
definitely
get
help
in
you
there
out.
if you have business with a court. That's what they told me anyway. Kind of looks towards the guards.
Some help here, guys?
Celestial, what about that job you were offered?
Yeah, where is he?
Behind the curtain. Pay
Behind the
no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Oh, yes, where's he been?
I don't know where he went. I'm sure he will be back in a moment.
Oh, look, a map. I can see everything now.
Awesome.
In the
There he goes.
meantime, I would probably try and test the waters, make idle chat. So tell me more about this mission you have.
Right.
No.
Yes. Well, as I told you, it's about this old ruin down south. King Algarod, his old keep. Should be a big, nice war chest there for us to take. If we can get there. I heard some rumblings about war down south. Don't like that one bit. But on the other hand, if there is a war going on, I'm sure there's some trader around here who needs some guards. And then he looks kind of nice, happy, and pats his long sword again. As he's doing all of that,
Sometimes is really good for business.
one of the guards by the gate will actually come and approach you guys. Hey, you! And that is clearly directed towards Celestial Passage.
Yes. How may we be of assistance?
You druid, huh?
Yes.
Golden stick.
Yes.
Good. Come.
All right. I start to follow my motion for everyone else.
I definitely follow.
Yep.
Frida is kind of like posturing behind Celestial Passage the whole time.
He'll be fine. What could go wrong?
Exactly.
Absolutely everything.
So right now you're about up here, and they will take you through the gate and walk you up inside that outer wall.
Does the
Again.
other guy we were just talking to look pissed off?
Again, it looks very much like Thalmarin's architecture, only it has been battered by winds and rains for centuries. If there was ever any paintings or any mosaics around here, they're probably long gone by now. And it's interesting in a way, maybe for those more inclined towards lore, to see what elven architecture looks like without all those polished things and without all those ornaments and artful finishing touches. When all that has been stripped away, what just remains?
What a dope, eh?
Awful.
In the
I
center,
like the looks of it.
they're marching you through here and just across this yard. There's a lot of orcs here. As before, when you look over this crowd, it's a bit strange. The only people that you can definitely identify as orcs with the tusks and the hairy, almost fur-like body hair are all men. And at this point, it's like, wait, is Orcish culture a culture of just men and then they have human women? You'll also notice that the women, they're also dressed in fairly bulky dresses, or not always dresses at all. It's a lot of them are wearing pants, but also very bulky tunics or pelts. Not at all like the farmer ladies of Westport and other human settlements, who are wearing often bodices with where you can see the hourglass shape, and these women are not dressed like that at all. And as you move through, they will bring you through the next gate as well, and onwards, deeper and deeper into the keep.
Just quickly looking around, how do the women behave?
They are confident, they are assertive, and they will... There seems to be no clear patriarchy here, if you will. They are not shy from telling the warrior men what to do and when to do it. Which doesn't necessarily mean that this is a matriarchy. It's hard for you to tell as an outsider exactly who's on top of what here. The women are basically never wearing armor or heavy weapons. That seems to be something that only the men are doing. It's weird to get a read on it, particularly for someone who's unused to reading culture. Which means that probably Celestial is a little bit more a little bit more astute with the lore and coding behavior, if you will, decoding behavior.
Yeah, Frida's just given Frida's past and what she's used to and what she knows of orcs. She's more, I guess, was looking for signs of maybe abuse.
No, there's no
that
such
doesn't
sign.
seem to be here.
If there's anything like that, why don't you roll me an insight roll, actually?
Okay.
Since you want to have a read on their social relations.
Yes.
Do these orcs here, do they look like they're aggressive towards us, or...
No,
Like,
you have no clue, Frida.
No.
No, they don't.
That's okay.
They are wary towards you, but you are under escort, and so, these are a couple of soldiers escorting you somewhere. That must be under order, right?
Okay.
Quite regular, so... basically, they're taking you through the inner courtyard here, and through this valve, or sort of archway that's still standing there. And once you get over here, where there's that bonfire burning, there's a lot of orcs here. There's got to be hundreds of orcs in this settlement. The guards will turn around and say, "You leave weapons there."
Raynor puts his staff down.
Alright.
I'll set my bow and aside there.
Soren has kind of like that Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome thing, where it's like here's my spear, here's my axe, here's my bow, here's my sling, here's some arrows, here's some nice rocks.
Frida's really, really, really reluctant to put down her weapons. She's like eyeing the orcs, and she's like, I'm gonna get these back, right? You're gonna get these back to me? Like, you're not gonna fuck with my weapons.
No, get back after.
Yeah. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Huh? Guard doesn't care.
While,
it's
while
clear
everybody-
that you're getting through the next doorway without your weapons, or not at all. That's basically the deal.
while everybody is disarming, I'm gonna see if I can sleight of hand my sling into a pocket.
Okay.
I'll take out my knife, little dagger. I'm like, yeah, here's my my butter knife if you want it.
Okay, you sleight of hand your sling.
Right.
It will pass through the scrutiny of the guards. You cannot do that with a longsword.
A Wonder Woman did.
Yeah.
Frida's not wearing... One, Frida doesn't fit into those kind of dresses.
This is true.
Two,
2, you haven't tried.
I doubt she's wearing enough clothing to have pockets.
So is Frida leaving the longsword outside and joining the others? Or...
I will leave the longsword and the shield outside. I'm assuming if I really need
Oh,
to,
they
I
said
can kill
nothing
some...
about the shield.
Would they let me keep the shield?
Nope.
I didn't
Okay.
think so.
Wanted to make sure, because you don't say it.
My shield's got like griffin talons on it. It's a weapon.
Oh, without the griffin talons, it's a big, huge chunk of metal that you can smash into somebody's face.
Also true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also assuming that claws and teeth, I could probably rip somebody apart enough to take their weapons.
It's also a sled to slide downstairs.
We're such an untrusting group of people.
Gee, I wonder
In the-
why. I had 2 nuns turn out to be demons.
In the Forbidden Lands, that can be a very natural reaction on trust, the lack of trust. So you have all disarmed. The guards are pleased with this, and they lead you to the courtyard.
Goddamn
And there-
civilized people.
Is a lot of people, yes, indeed. It's a large open roof over the far raised end, and on a throne there, there's 2 thrones there. One, the bigger one, has a huge orc, probably the biggest you've ever seen, and he's draped in, and this is where you skip a beat moment, all sorts of weird knickknacks, like necklaces and ornaments from his tusks and fingers. It's almost like the idea of, say, a 5-year-old's idea of what an emperor should look like, that has understood that you need all that bling and all those finery, silken clothes and embroideries, but not in the right combination, and colors clashing horribly, and it just looks strange on such a huge warrior. This
My 5-year-old really likes to play dress up. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, of course. Next to this huge orc warrior is a woman looking very human, except for the same kind of dress like the women that you've already seen here. And, well, Steph, why don't you describe her further?
She looks very human. She looks a little less ostentatious than her husband, as if she sort of gets the inside joke a little more. But she is draped in finery. She wears a very expensive looking cloak. And set in the middle is a very large ruby. And yeah, that's about it.
And next to them is, in fact, a human man no doubt about his kin, who is dressed very much like the Emperor. And that looks, if possible, even funnier almost for a human to dress like that. This is not the style of nobles or rich people in any of the human villages you've been through yet. He's a very slender fellow who I think you would describe him best as slimy, the way he's smirking and prostrating himself before the Emperor all the time. There's also
Hey,
a group
look,
of...
a tasty snack.
There's also at least a dozen guards and some other women here, close by to the Empress. And the guards are bringing you into the middle of the floor, and Her Majesty, Druid, and points towards Celestial. As ordered.
I wave the druid forward.
I calmly take a couple steps closer.
Take a step backwards.
Can you tell me a little bit about what your character looks like?
Well, he's a little scruffy, some raggedy, longer than normal hair, spends a lot of time outdoors after all, doesn't tend to take care of himself as much as maybe Braynar does, but Braynar's also old. Fairly willowy, very clearly of half-elven stock of the Elven Spring. Dressed in functional but softly colored for more blending into the woodlands attire.
Okay. And you are?
Celestial Passage of the Order of the Golden Bow.
And what is the Order of the Golden Bow?
It is a druidic order.
And what does that mean?
What does anything mean? It's a society, it's a group, it's a identifier. It's how your soldiers identified me by the item here on my waist.
Excellent. And you are in possession of some magic?
Some, yes.
Do you have the ability to identify magic?
Absolutely.
And are you seeking employment?
Well, I heard rumors that there was potential employment this way, and while we've been adventuring abroad, myself and my companions, as I gesture to the group behind me, we thought it worthwhile to look into.
Who are your companions? Bring them forward.
Well, first there's Frida, our lovely wolfkin, the demon slayer, Frida the Bloody.
Frida steps forward. Frida is an 8-foot tall brown humanoid wolf. Long claws, long teeth. Big girl.
There's Braynar, the frailer sage, who's been accompanying Frida as long as we've known.
Braynar also steps forward and basically really old, frailer half-elf dressed in a gray robe. Looks pretty frail, quite literally, but things are not always necessarily what they seem.
Soren, our human hunter at the back. He's
Yeah, could have
master
just
at
left me out of
woodcraft.
it. Yes, Soren looks like he wants to be anywhere but here. His hands have that kind of dirt that you only get if you've lived in the wild your entire life. Like, it's never going to come off. Dressed in clothes that have seen better days but seem sturdy, and is eyeing everything, like trying to figure out whether they're predator or prey.
And finally, Big, who is definitely not the least, our halfling bard, minstrel, and master tradesperson. Always looking for a new market to sell wares and export and import.
I
says
see.
Big
the
would,
Emperor himself. Bard, play something.
Yes, play for my husband.
Absolutely. I will make a courteous bow. Of course, since I'm like 3.5 feet off the ground, it's not really that much of a bow anyway. But I'll pull out my flute. And I will attempt to perform.
Indeed. Don't be intimidated by the huge orc emperor who's just staring at you at all. It works. You are playing a lovely tune. It's probably not your best performance ever, but you are an accomplished bard, so your not best performance ever is still professional for sure.
I'm just dazzled by that ruby. It distracted me a little bit.
What is the song about, or the tune about? Are you choosing what kind of genre are you picking for this?
Well, off the cusp, I would probably try again, since I'm a little distracted. Probably think of words off the top of my head about demon slayers finding ancient treasure or something along the lines to try and hype up the group in a nonchalant way.
Kroka seems pleased with this. Demon Slayer. We'll test that.
Soria pats him on the shoulder. Yes, it was very nice.
Yeah.
So your name is big, and yet you are small. I like that. And the woman is large and foreboding, and I like that. And you have brought a druid to me, and I like that. So why are you here?
Well,
Bad guys.
as we had stated when we were in that fishing village, can't remember the name.
That would be Reddale.
Reddale, yes, thank you. Sorry, slept poorly last night. It was brought to my attention that there was potential for employment, and well, we can't simply spend all of our time exploring and solving the woes of the world. We do need an income somewhere.
Feel free to roll manipulation, maybe?
There is not a word of lie there.
This is true.
Carefully chosen.
Sure, but it'll get me something if you're hiding something, my friend.
Yeah.
That it will.
Yeah, I'm totally gonna push that just because,
Of course.
this is not a good
You
situation.
had a success.
Yeah, exactly. I have no drawbacks to pushing this, and I do want success.
Indeed.
Well, so much for that, guys.
Yeah, you take a point of damage to your empathy, of course.
It's because Frida looks so on edge.
Really is.
My
Frida's
ruby's
fault.
very distracting. It's okay.
Somehow I don't think it's really okay.
It's not your Ruby I'm staring at.
Soria nods. I see. Good. Well, I am seeking the employment of an individual who can analyze magical trinkets and also be on the lookout for possible magical corruption. Is that something that you are capable of, Druid?
It's like my old.
Well, absolutely.
Oh, it's not like I have that.
Also part of our creed to be on the lookout for magical corruption so we can try and restore the balance of the land.
Good. Would you mind then if your bard played another song and you can come with me for a moment?
As you wish.
I will test the Demon Slayer.
Yes, husband, you do that.
And Hiroka actually stands up and walks over to some of his courtiers. Now,
Be
he's not
gentle.
he's not
But
gonna kill a guest.
I don't want to hurt him.
He's not gonna kill a guest, so there will be wooden swords for you.
Oh, damn it. All right.
Soria will take the druid off with a couple handmaidens, and she'll tell her husband to be gentle with, my love. Do not push yourself.
He will be, well, I don't know how gentle he will
Should I
be.
apologize in advance, or?
We'll see. He likes your bravery, if you will. Your chutzpah. There we go. He is, without a doubt, probably the biggest warrior you've ever seen. Except for possibly ogres. They would be even bigger.
Frida's still riding the high of killing a griffin, so
I bet, yes.
She's not intimidated.
No, for sure. I mean, she's a formidable fighter herself. The question is, how formidable? Do you want to do the roll-off right away?
Sure.
While
What are we
this is
rolling?
going on,
Might?
Melee.
Melee?
But you don't need to add a gear bonus because you're doing wooden swords.
Yeah.
Soren's just gonna sidle up to one of the guards and do you have any food
I
or
got a
ale?
success. And he did not.
He
Giving
had-
food or
that
ale,
was
or
a terrible
preferably
roll.
both.
He must have imbibed a little bit too much of the strong drinks already. It's just around noon, and apparently he's already a little bit into his cups today for some reason. Because you do best him, and he will be absolutely impressed with this. You as a fighter, you can tell just how formidable this man can be.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
sort of
at this
GM's
point,
preferred.
Frida's schooled in 2 different classes of fighter.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, you will notice, of course, that he has 10 dice altogether, and you have fewer.
Yeah.
So he has potential, and as a fighter, you will recognize that.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's slipping in some mud there was just bad luck, and you don't know how often you would be able to hold him off should it be
Yeah.
a real thing. But for now, you're standing as the victor, and everyone, when Hroka acknowledges that as a fair defeat on his part, everyone is cheering for you. You've made a good impression on the orcs.
I'm not gonna get killed yet, guys.
Damn,
Meanwhile,
we should have bet for the ruby on that.
I'm sorry these big strong men seem to need to compare themselves to me. It's not my fault.
Soria, are you going alone with Celestial, or do you bring someone?
Two handmaidens.
Very good.
I take him to the room where the individual orc, I believe, was corrupted. Wherever room he had. I know it's since been cleared out,
Yeah,
but that's where I will take him first.
that would be in this keep here.
Mhm.
Actually, I think it's yeah, because he would have slept. No, wait, guard barracks. Sorry about that. That is. There we go. Okay, so this is the guard station right here, where you were just search for weapons. So I'm gonna put him right here in this tower. So you'd have to walk out of the courtyard, basically, and of course with an escort, because the Empress will never have not an escort when she is with a stranger.
I say, I don't know if any residual magic remains, but this is where I believe that a member of my household and my guard was influenced by outside magic. It came in the form of the dagger. I have no longer the possession of this dagger, but perhaps you may tell me something that I don't already know. Please, do your druid thing.
Tell me how long ago this happened.
How long has it been?
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It must be more than a week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see now. Yeah, it's exactly a week, actually.
There you go.
A week and maybe a bit, yeah.
That's just basically making it easier for me when I use visions of the past.
Oh, do you have visions of the past?
Yes, I have visions of the past.
Oh, lovely.
Because
ahead.
I don't think sense magic's gonna do me much good.
No, there's not going to be any magic residue right now
No.
here. So, visions of the past it is.
Which I'll have to use power level 2 because it's more than a day, but up to a year.
Yep.
I have some of his items too, so I can get you some of his personal possessions.
That might help.
I will have those brought.
Okay, so this is my first time casting a spell, Miguel.
Yep. So,
Um,
you are having an item from the time, which means that you
Yeah.
get an extra power level because of that. You needed a power level
2.
2. Okay, so basically what you need is that item and 1 willpower point, and you don't really even have to invoke your kin talent of psychic power, which means that you would be rolling 1 die, basically. And if that die comes up a 1 or a 6, interesting things will happen, but the spell will work.
Okay. I will leave it at base then for now because, yeah. Well, you know what? I'll make it 2 because free kind power.
For sure.
Ooh.
That works. And in fact, as you're reaching out into the ether to try to follow the etheric flows into the past itself, you hit a vein of particularly potent etheric magic supercharging your spell. So you reach an even higher power level than you need. You can see hundreds of years in the past, but you don't need that right now.
No.
You will see. Should I write that maybe in the chat?
I won't say no.
Soraya just watches while you're doing all this. She has a chair and some wine brought over, and she entertains herself while you do this.
Yeah.
Soren is pretending like he's making small talk with the orcs, but really he's just trying to find out if there's food or ale.
Rainer is casually following, basically right behind.
Frida looks extremely agitated. She keeps looking in the way Celestial Passage went.
Big is definitely playing her B music by the look of it, but playing nonetheless.
Yeah, and Kroka is very pleased. Others are wanting to line up to duel with the Demon Slayer, but then again, that's up to you. They're not going to be impolite yet.
I just beat your king. Take it as that.
That's a point.
But if they beat you, does that mean they get to be king?
Probably
No.
shouldn't test that theory. I don't want to be their queen.
I don't know how this civilization stuff works. I'm just that strongest person rolled.
I'm just saying, I don't want to be anybody's queen.
Maybe you can get Soria this way. This could work out for all of us.
Mm.
Finally, the fighter does the seduction.
So Celestial Passage casts a spell. His eyes are closed while he focuses on the humming aether around him. I gotta maximize that so I can read.
I did not
I
set
see.
out to seduce people with my sword, okay?
I see fragments of the time. A voice in the dark speaking to your erstwhile warrior. You're corrupted. He looks truly fearful. His loyalty and his self-preservation warring with everything else that keeps him rooted to this spot. There's a faint woman's voice, and as it speaks to him, he becomes enthralled, almost fanatically devoted to the ideas that she's telling him. And this woman with yellow eyes gives him a dagger.
Yellow eyes?
Yes,
You're sure?
I am positive.
Which handmaidens are with me, Mikkel?
That would be Mog and Urzoth.
They're both with me.
Yep.
I look at Urzroth
She's,
and I say, "Do you have something to say?"
I think B might want to roll manipulation again. Sorry, I might want to roll insight.
I'm putting 2 and 2 together here. I'm doing. I'm being heroic.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately, I don't have Big's empathy.
This is true.
Or my talent for manipulation, so tell the truth.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking push that all day long. All day
Go ahead.
long. Yay!
That's a success. See how poorly I roll. Not that
Oh,
poorly.
dang it. I'm not wrong. That's the sad thing. I am not wrong.
That's okay, because as soon as you come out of that room, Frida's going for it. I don't trust anybody with yellow eyes anymore. Frida is extremely agitated. She is pacing around that damn courtyard.
I see. Do you have any other information on who the whispers were or who it came from?
Well, it was clearly someone who's been possessed or taken over, if not replaced outright. Which is where the connection to the yellow eyes comes from my experiences and the tales told to me by my friend, the Demon Slayer.
What? You believe that anyone that has yellow eyes is possessed?
That's what I've
Urzoth
been
looks
told.
absolutely
That's
insulted
especially when
at
they're
this.
unnatural.
Urzoth looks still insulted and flabbergasted.
So, you can obviously do magic. You did confirm that what I believe is true, that my warrior was unduly influenced by outside forces, but yet you have come here under false pretenses and you are hiding something from me. And then you attempt to indicate my most trusted handmaiden, who was born with yellow eyes by no fault of her own. So unless she has been
Ooh,
possessed
interesting.
since a baby,
Which isn't out of the question.
Fascinating. Let me return you to your party before the wolf woman gets very upset.
Yes, I can hear her pacing despite the fact she's 2 buildings over.
Soria will walk them back. Do you wish permanent employment in my court, or do you wish to be a freelancer, as we say?
Well, from everything we've been trying to work on in our travels, freelancing seems to apply more to our adventurer's bent, as it were.
What are you working on in your travels?
Well, partially hunting the demonic, or anything that seems to be corrupt, which is an interesting crossroad when you come here and find out that someone was enthralled.
Yes. He killed a diplomat, and he meant to incite a war.
A diplomat of which group, if I may ask?
A friend. My belief is that there are Rust brothers to the south, and that they have allied themselves with a powerful magician of some sort. That they are attempting to incite war and division among myself and others while I attempt to bring them together.
I've heard many tales of war brewing to the south, and that's definitely the Rust brothers have been on the move.
And they have already attacked my brethren. So, why don't you gather your party, relax for a little bit, and join me in the hall when there's not so many people all around, and when you can talk with them a little more and decide if you want to tell me the whole truth.
Well, I will say this: you have a most intriguing accoutrement.
Everyone says that.
And so
Yes.
they come back. This is like a walk and talk Aaron Sorkin style.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And so they return to the courtyard. And Frida will be pleased to see that Celestial Passage is in fact still in one piece and
Hey.
completely unabused as well, seemingly.
That does make me happy. I'm still eyeing her handmaiden.
It's
I'm
not
sure.
my fault that I'm smarter than my tongue.
You are that, indeed.
That gets you into trouble a lot.
Ursula the Handmaiden is really giving him the eye as well. And
I'll
she's-
have them fed and watered, and then I will excuse myself. And I will say, when you decide to meet with me and tell me the truth and enjoin my service, I will be inside and we will meet without an audience. And then I walk away.
I guess one of the handmaidens will stay to pick up a message.
I'm pretty sure
Which
it's not
one?
the one with yellow eyes.
Nope, not that one.
I'll
It's
leave.
the one with yellow eyes ain't come back.
I'll leave Mog. I'll take Urzath with me. I want to question her anyway.
Yep.
There's just enough there.
So,
Well, that could have gone far worse.
Why is the one with yellow eyes still alive?
Well, unfortunately, do not have a way with honeyed words, and I tend to be more blunt and direct about things rather than building someone up to the point where they accept what we're talking about.
I can appreciate that.
But the
Um,
benefit is, she thinks you have, a talent for something. And she wants to meet one-on-one with you. So, do you know what? You take that ruby, do one-on-one with her, and say, hey,
Oh,
you know what?
oh,
to
no, no.
increase this magic, I need some belonging of yours.
oh,
Do
no,
the
no,
little
no, 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 no.
switcheroo.
I appreciate the thought, Big. I truly do. When next we meet, it'll be us with the Empress and whomsoever she trusts to be in the room.
A creature like that is the one that blew up Marita's head. It
And
can't live.
what?
And I did try and incorporate that warning into what I did truthfully witness, as I'm almost positive, despite the fact I did not see her, that it was her or someone working for her.
Truth and tact tend to be a little bit different.
So, for those of us that went around, you're just saying that everybody with yellow eyes is a demon.
Well, that
Rainer,
seems to
please
be all I have
explain
to
to
go
them
on
what
right
it
now.
is. Please explain to them what it is, because they're obviously
Okay.
not understanding.
So let's actually talk about this someplace that there isn't guards all over the place. There isn't people waiting for us to
Have
properly
you heard
go
them?
in.
They're dumb like bricks. They're strong, though. Oh man, are they strong?
Yes, they are. Their king wanted to challenge me.
But regardless, we do have reason to believe, not necessarily pointing a finger every time, but there is ways that both myself and Celestial can determine if they are.
So you're saying there's a wolf in the hen house?
I am saying there's an orc in the Elven house.
So,
I mean, technically,
There's also
there's-
an elf in the York house. That's part of why we're here.
so there's a way to detect a demon other than just like that person's eyes are a different color.
Correct.
Because I'm not going to risk my life for any of you on the basis of somebody's eye color.
Oh goodness,
To-
no! I wouldn't
totally
expect
fair.
you to do that.
Now, hair color. That's a totally different story, I'm sure. But I haven't met a redhead that wasn't untrustworthy.
So you can change hair color more often than some people change their unders.
I'm guessing there's probably a hint of red in Frida's fur.
That's how Big's naturally a redhead.
So what else did she have to say?
Well, the big thing is, when we're ready to tell the unvarnished truth, she'll meet with us in private, and we can go from there on whether or not we have employment as the ragtag band of adventurers we are.
Maybe if we tell
Transitory
her
though
the
we might
truth,
be.
she'll just give it to us.
I'm
So-
not ruling that out, but I did not want to broach that in mixed company with someone who might be demonic.
Every time he tells the truth, he seems more suspicious. This is the issue. The trick is to tell more lies, and then you're more trustworthy somehow.
Well, then apparently we need to let you talk.
That's what I've been saying all along. I didn't say a damn truthful thing ever.
I am too earnest for my own good, apparently.
So Celestial, what did she get you looking at? Or where did she bring you?
She took me to a room where one of the former guards resided. He became, I even do air quotes, corrupted, and apparently attacked an important diplomat who the Empress views as kin. It turns out, looking back at what happened, he was corrupted and enthralled, and went from being apprehensive and fearful for his life to fanatic.
Yeah,
it wasn't
that
the item
definitely
itself
sounds-
that
That sounds like that guy that we met in the woods.
was a female's voice. So I tried to play a warning into everything, and well, here we are now.
Okay. Well, I think shy of everything about the stone discussion, there's no reason for us to go ahead and lie to her. Why don't we just lay it all out in the open, what we've experienced?
Well, here's the problem. She's going to say, why are you really here?
Mm.
And we're really here to get the stone, and anything else is a lie.
Well, maybe if we tell her there's an elven soul in it, she might just give it to us.
I don't
And if
think
she
she's
only-
going to care.
So we got a gift on the way in, and if she just cares about it being what it is,
I have to message the.
if it's not occupied, maybe she'll just exchange it for services rendered.
It's possible. Maybe whatever it is that she wants to hire people for, we could be like, it'd be good payment.
Exactly.
I don't know. She seems. She does seem to be fairly insightful. She knows we're up to something.
She knows celestial.
Yes, she's
passage is up to
insightful, and I
something.
have no ability to manipulate because
This is
I am
true.
a forthright and earnest person.
Celestial, how many guards does she usually keep with her? How many guards did she take when you went away?
It was just the two handmaidens.
Just the two handmaidens?
Yes. I mean, but look at me. I mean, I'm not. I'm being honest here. Look at me.
But you're a fairly Rubenesque lady. You
That's
should
what I'm
try
thinking.
and
I'm wondering
manage
how
it.
many guards I could take at once.
No, you could masquerade as one of the guards or the handmaidens. They'll never know the difference.
Yes, they will. I'm fuzzy.
That's
And 7 feet tall.
8 feet, thank you.
Oh, sorry. I must be wearing my tall boots today.
All right. Let's just go talk to this lovely lady and see if there's anything we can do to get her ruby.
Ah, that sword cuts both ways.
That does cut both ways.
Okay.
But
Wait.
but understand, we may quite quickly have to put all the cards on the table.
Worst case scenario, where's that cliff that they were talking about that's in the city center?
I'll show you.
Or-
So, they were talking about. I mean, this entire castle is up on a cliff. Your judgment would be somewhere down there, below the cliff.
Oh, okay.
What, Brainer, you want to throw some people over? Because I
No,
can
where,
help.
where the park used to be.
No, far from that, in case we needed reinforcements.
No, we shouldn't need reinforcements, especially not under these circumstances.
Excellent.
Yet, this party has a way of making things go south very fast.
Nothing to hide.
We're not dealing with her husband. I think that would go extremely south extremely fast.
We've already dealt with the husband and
I've
wife.
already, yeah, exactly. I've already dealt with her husband.
Yeah, no doubt. See him over there frolicking? Yes, he's dealt with.
Are you telling the handmaiden that you're ready to talk? Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Okay. She will.
And may all the gods have mercy upon us.
She'll bring you into the central keep there. Notably, since there's 5 of you, she is in fact telling a couple of guards to come with as well, because it would be absolute folly not to.
How many?
How many Empress would normally come?
One each.
One for each guest? Yep.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. I mean, they can be outside the door if you need them. So, yeah, you'll be escorted by a patrol of 5 burly orc guards and the handmaid.
Fully take them.
Soren's gonna grab like a handful of food and stuff like another handful in his pocket.
Yep, that's that's available for sure. In fact,
Did
while you've
they
been
take-
having the conversation, you might as well have had your day's meal and drink. So that's not a worry for you anymore.
Did they take the wooden sword back from Frida?
Yes. You're not going into the keep with a wooden
I'm
sword.
just asking.
Trying to hide in your belt.
Mog the handmaiden will escort you up to a more private chamber where, indeed, the Empress is waiting together with Urzoth, the other handmaiden. And, well, it's up to the Empress how many guards will be inside or outside the room.
I have all the guards stand outside.
Okay. Feel free to describe the chamber, since it's yours.
You can tell this is a smaller sitting area. It's not a standard chamber where I would receive sort of public guests. It's more like an area where I would come to relax and discuss things. There are books on the walls. Soria, in fact, has a book sitting in front of her on a little side table. She's got a decanter of wine and several glasses. There's a small plate of food and things like that if you want to partake. But the room itself has a lot of, baubles. Different collection items, but the collection isn't what you would think of as an orc collection. There are some, tusks from slain animals, or maybe the occasional pelt and things like that. But a lot of the baubles are learned in nature. They're more academic. Things like maybe an astrolabe or something like neat like that she may not have know what to do with, but that she has collected and sort of placed in her small chamber. So she invites you to sit.
The handmaidens are standing close but behind her.
I'll ensure that I'm dusted off before I take a seat.
Frida stays near the door.
Rainier will sit. Actually, if she's willing to partake in it, I will totally grab a glass of wine also.
Mog will serve.
Soren's just gonna graze the buffet table.
So, why are you here?
Well, what I said before wasn't a lie. However, we're also here as we've been made aware that there is a certain gemstone here that is not merely a gemstone, it's also the repository of a lost soul.
Mm-hmm.
The people would like to have repatriated back to them.
She does not wish to return. You can tell that to them.
May I speak with her?
No.
Then how do I know it's not being held under duress?
If she wished to return, she could leave at any time.
It's not anything.
So why do you
I've been
want
told.
her?
Why her people asked for us to see if we could retrieve her. To
What do they
bring
want
her
with
home.
They wanted. I laugh.
Well, bring her home outside of the Eye where she used to reside, obviously, but back to her people.
Do you know anything about her?
That's why I was hoping to learn while I was here.
Mm-hmm. She was cast out by her people for not hating my kin as they do. What do they
Interesting.
want with her? Do you even know? Or are you just recuperating this because you think that they're wonderful elves?
Oh,
Celeste,
wouldn't
do you
say
want to roll
wonderful
insight
elves.
on this?
I would like to point out I do not like elves other than present company.
I just want to go on record. I'm here because the elves promised to pay me. I don't really care. I don't care where the money comes from.
You want to push?
Oh wow,
God.
that's just
that
oh.
was the worst.
I
push
just
roll
had
ever.
an aneurysm.
I'm sorry, what are you doing?
This is
Passing out apparently.
he just lost 4 points of his intelligence and damage as he's trying to get what you were saying to square with his, I guess, pro-elven biases.
His believes that the elves are awesome.
Yes, and this is just, yeah, I think it's a bit of a short circuit in your head over this. How could elves be this intolerant as she's alleging, and yet you can't for sure say that she's lying? I think that disturbs you immensely. You can say that it's the truth, or maybe it's just that you haven't been able to accept it yet. But you also can't convince yourself that she's lying.
And you guys all thought I was crazy for trying to get more information from them before we took this quest.
Oh. You are crazy. We already knew that.
So, if you are here to retake my ally, I will not allow her to depart from this place over my living body. So that is out of the question, particularly if you're going to take her back to people who cast her out and hurt her to begin with, and enslaved and murdered many of my kin. Not that I hold a grudge or anything.
No, not at all. No.
So, that being said, I am deeply interested in your sworn, what did you call it? Order to find corruption and to deal with it. This seems like a very noble pursuit, and it puts us at a like mind. I am a little leery about this whole yellow-eyed thing, but Soria pats the book next to her. I have done a little bit of light reading while you were busy talking amongst yourselves.
Everybody's scrutinizing Soria for any type of lies.
It's like, don't look at me. I'm brain dead.
In Celestial's defense, he wasn't there at the actual event. The last person we met who had eyes similar to your handmaiden turned out to be a born demon and made my friend's head explode.
That sounds
I
very
took hers.
unpleasant.
Yes. So this is why we are so leery. But
It has come to my attention that these yellow-eyed creatures that you speak of may be Marigal, and Soria will pass you the book to whomever wishes to take it.
Raynor will immediately take the book and say, yes, we know that they are Marigals. We've disposed of one previously in the past.
Urzoth was born with yellow eyes, just like her father. She is not a Marigal.
Do you know how to perform a test to verify that?
She has been with me since she was a child.
They are born with yellow eyes, even as children.
What is this test?
Well, frankly, it is very simple. And let's see if Raynor can pull that manipulation check or bluff check. Well, frankly, we will see if there's ability to detect any type of magic or demonic presence within her.
By? How?
Empress, I am a sorcerer at trade. I deal with demons, quite frankly, very often, and like my furried friend here, have disposed of them in the past.
Right.
If she
I will
is
agree
one,
to a simple test, but if the test is to I don't know, cut off her head to tell if she's a demon, that's not going to work for me.
If she is a demon, she will shriek in pain. If she is not a demon, she will have no harm done to her.
Urzoth, do you agree to this?
Yes, she says, defiantly. I am not a demon, and I will not be screaming in pain.
In the meantime, Soren's been like, I haven't... wait, pears.
Food!
Alright, so, one sec. So here's my manipulation roll. And I'll push, because why not? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Alright, well. And I'm going to burn a willpower.
Yep.
And
I'm not the only bad liar.
I mean, he does have a spell that would work on a demon.
That's why Frida just doesn't lie.
So DM question.
Yeah.
I do have a spell that works on demons, but what happens in the event that they're currently possessing somebody else? Would that still work, i.e. bind demon?
I would say that you would bind the demon that's possessing her, yes.
And I can bind it to...
Which is pretty much what you did last time, right?
Yeah.
That's how my head exploded.
Yeah, sure.
Well, it exploded because of the banished demon thing. That was...
Yeah. Yeah.
But that would actually... The banished demon hurts demons, the bind demon just makes them obey.
Yeah, Frida still got some trauma over that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to try and bind the demon to make it obey.
Okay.
Because at that point, she should technically listen to me if that's the way that works.
Indeed.
The only problem is it requires quarter day. And I don't have a pentagram, so it's straight up 2, I think.
Yep.
No.
Last time we were at a blacksmith, you had several pentagrams made.
The demon could resist the spell with a successful insight roll with negative mod equal to power level. So, if it's a powerful demon insight-wise, it's going to be harder.
Okay, so let me just check here. I've got 2 willpower. It takes 2. I've got a pentagram, so that's an extra 1, and I've got psychic power, so that's an extra 1.
All right.
Here we go. Let's try not to blow my brains.
You don't roll a die for your pentagram.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's 2 dice. You cast the spell without problems. You reach out, rip into those etheric flows, bend them to your will, and shape them into something that could cage a demon and bind it to your will. And nothing happens. Whatever she is, it's not a demon.
So, she's clear.
In that case, I give you my absolute apologies.
So you did not see her give a dagger to my god?
No, everything else other than seeing the yellow eyes was true. I was simply acting on information.
I
and
see.
as I said, it was a mistake.
Don't ever try to manipulate me again, and we will be good friends.
There is still a demon in your castle that needs to be taken care of, so we would like to find that if you don't mind.
There may be, but I don't think so. I think that the outside magic has come from a sorcerer in a great distance.
Who's working with the brothers?
Yes, that is my belief. You have confirmed that there was a sorceress present. It is also my belief that more demons will fall through the gate. And they are trying to draw our attention away from the south, where the gate is. Are you familiar with the gate?
Nope.
Not at all.
Whereabouts in the south?
We'd like to know.
Only through studies.
I'm trying to find it. What's the out of character? What's the name of the gate?
Put it in chat. In case
So I'm
that's the one
scrolling through
you're-
my discard to try to find the name of it.
I put it in chat here. On Zoom.
The Proto-Nexus. It resides to the south deep in Rust Brothers' lands. Here is what I need a druid for. I need a druid who can do magic to not only root out whatever corruption is entering my court and stopping me from uniting the kin against the Rust Brothers, but also recover the rest of the elven gemstone siblings and put them in a crown. That crown will close the Proto-Nexus for good. If this is not done, it is my belief that whatever sorcerer is attempting to open the gate and divide us will do so, and demons will overrun this world, and the red mist will rise back up, and we will all die a very painful death.
After you're finished sealing the gate with these gemstones, have any other use for these souls?
They will go back to the crown, and then these souls will choose what they want to do of their own volition.
Might be beneficial. We could 2 birds with 1 stone.
Can we have a few moments to talk amongst ourselves?
Mm-hmm. You should know there are multiple gemstones in different areas, and your elven friends, who I'm guessing are the Red Runners, what is his name? Kellen, the big tree guy. He's not exactly friendly, I don't think. And if you give him all the stones, I believe they will just go back in hiding themselves. You need to close the Proto-Nexus.
I have no problem with killing more demons.
So where's the crown?
The crown,
Assembly.
last I knew... One moment, please.
It is hidden in the app hell.
Last I knew, that was the last whereabouts of the crown. It was used during the Elven times, and when the sisters of Iridine got separated with her siblings, the crown and most of her siblings disappeared, and they were scattered. Where they are now, I'm not entirely sure. I have one.
Is it possible to use that one to get bead on the others?
No, not that I am aware of. But I will consult with her to see if that is a possibility. If you find her siblings and I can aid you in this, I will help reinforce you with money, soldiers, and the ability to travel through mine and other orcish lands uncontested. If you are able to do this, I will bring them all to me. I will insert the last stone, and you will take the crown to the Proto-Nexus.
So we get money, free passage, and money, and money?
Mm-hmm.
I think we should do this.
This is a much better deal than the elves offered us.
Mm-hmm.
Because money.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I have found something that speaks to the very core of you. Very good. Well, you
Fair
talk
story,
about it
man.
amongst yourselves. I will provide you with a room as you'd like. Food. I see your friend there is very hungry.
Yes.
Endlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Never know when the next meal's coming, so stock up while you can.
Just be careful. I have been attempting to unite my kin and others to contest against the Rust Brothers, as they are currently invading my southern borders. And I am already having trouble. I believe that their influence is seductive and has already infiltrated other rulers.
Yes.
Yep.
Be careful what you do with the elves. Good. Go.
Urzog this time. Urzog will in fact, just because it's her with the yellow eyes, will in fact go to the door and open it for you and allow you
To
to...
show us out.
Yes, exactly.
On the way out, Brainerd apologizes and continues through.
I just keep rubbing my chin, staring off.
Might want to eat better. That may be jaundice in your eyes. Take a look at it.
She gives you a glare. Not amused at this point at all. You'll be escorted back down to the main courtyard to discuss amongst yourselves. Of course, it's rowdy and noisy down here. Unless Soria wants to
I thought
supply
she
them
was
with
gonna give
a
us a
chamber of their
room.
own.
Yeah, I'll get them a room so that they can stay comfortably. Ooh, you know what? I'll put them in the diplomat's room. That's fun.
Okay.
With a
You
bed.
mean the diplomat that was almost stabbed to death?
Yes. Oh no, he was. Not almost.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was completely stabbed to death.
Good to know. I
Blood
am
and
not
gore
using-
is really gonna
I'm
bother
not
us.
using
They
vision
always
to
change
pass
more
pass
in
in
this
this
sheets,
room.
room.
right? So we're fine.
Right, so then you're escorted back to that same building there where you saw Celestial Passage being taken before. And into that very chamber. It's not a big one. It's really just a simple bed, a bedside table, another small table that can be used as a writing desk and what have you. Small
Well,
wash
at least
basin.
this light isn't discreet.
I'm not gonna lie, I like her more than the elves.
Well, no shit.
Like an
So,
errant
You have
toddler. I will
about as
jump
much the
upon
same
bed.
amount of tolerance for talking around things.
So, Celestial, because of your pre-existing relationship with the elves, how do you feel basically working against them?
It's not necessarily actually against them. That's part of why I asked if I might speak with her. I always want to find more because there's always more layers to the truth than what we're presented with.
Right, if
And-
she doesn't want to go back to the elves, we're
Yeah,
not
I'm
gonna
not-
force her.
No, that would be enforcing a sentient into basically a form of slavery.
A sentient jewel? Like, let's be a little realistic here.
Okay, pig.
It's a
It has a
soul
soul in it, and
pig.
if you keep downplaying this, I'm going to kick you myself.
So, she referenced she was able to talk to it.
Yes.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Which was stated that if it was someone that they were willing to, the gem would speak. The soul gems will speak with them.
I know of ways to bind two gems, but I've never heard of gems talking back.
Well,
See,
they're
I'm not
they're
crazy.
different.
I mean, Brenna,
Yes,
you
you
can
are.
roll a lore roll if you want.
Well,
I'm
it's,
gonna make
it's
a
a
lore
matter.
I'm
They're
not
not-
making a lore roll when I'm this dumb.
They're not just gems, right? They are the elven soul.
The heart and soul of the elf.
No, here's my take, for what it's worth. I don't.
Money.
Okay. Yes, money is always good. If the elves are right, then they get the soul gem back, and they live a happy life. If she's right, the world is going to end. And if we stop it, the gems are still intact, and then can go
Oh,
to the elves.
precisely. I'm
Exactly.
I'm not against playing a longer game.
We can do
I
both.
just want to know the truth.
I agree. I don't want to take the soul gems back to the elves if the soul gems don't want to go back to the elves.
Are we
Oh.
able to communicate with these soul gems?
If they
it's
wanna talk
willing
to us.
yes.
But what if they're not willing to talk to us?
That would be also proof enough as well, for me and for what I was seeking.
So, why don't we propose it from the fashion that we ask the Empress if there's a way that we can talk to it? If she does or she doesn't, well then that solves your curiosity, Celestial. If they do, and they're content fighting for the greater good cause of, closing this rift of demons, then we politely tell the Empress where the elves are hanging out, and she can go send a raiding party. No offense, Celestial.
I don't think that we need to go that far either, though.
We need to keep the elves from sending a raiding party too.
Yes, and
Then-
we can.
We could politely tell the elves that their rumors of having it here at Eye of the Storm,
Hmm.
or Rose rather, is untruthful and it's actually further down south.
Do you
Tell
believe
them
that
the
you'll be able
truth.
to pull that one off?
Heaven
Whether
forbid that I say this, but yeah, tell them
know.
the truth.
That was
We
where I
have a
was
lead
going.
to get many, many more gems to return or repatriate them to the elves.
If they want to wait the long game.
We leave out
Also sealing
the
off.
other part that we might not return them, but we're on, we have leads. So
We don't necessarily even have to go quite that far. We can simply talk about the fact that they have a higher purpose, and that purpose is to prevent the return of the red mists and the sundering of the gate that would allow it to happen.
If the elves are really as good as they say they are, then they
They'll
should have
accept
no
it.
problem with that.
Nobody's as good as they say they are.
I tend to agree with you.
However, with that
I
said,
don't feel as good as I used to say I was after today.
Celestial, I do think for the purposes of clarity and trust with the Empress, we should at least advise the elves are trying a smash and grab.
Well, at this time, we've been entrusted with doing the smash and grab aspect of it because they already know the
Right, but if we
red
take
mist.
too long, they're gonna come in anyway. He's
They've explicitly
spitting
stated
for a
that.
fight.
If one of you wants to go and talk to them, I really need to rest.
They're not gonna talk to me, so Brainer, it's up to you.
why don't we do this in the light of day? We're already stressed
still
out as it
day.
is.
Yeah, we
Remember?
didn't get any sleep at all last night.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it's
Time's blurring.
it's
And
basically
it's-
still noonish, mid-afternoon at most. So you have hours left of this day.
If I wasn't so tired and so worn out from trying to understand and see everything, I would be seeking them out to potentially learn more of my magics.
Well,
But
in
I
the
am-
meantime,
Well, let's. Do we mind if we go tell her? So at least if it does happen, then it's not us. They realize it's not us. We don't get killed in the middle of the nights by a bunch of orcs.
I will happily
So-
go let her know.
Just let her, just to have her increase her guards. That's part
Just
of why
so
we're here.
we're
but
clear,
not the
can we
only
come
group.
to a consensus as to what we're going to say first before we say?
Very simple. The elves,
The Red Runners?
the Red Runners wanted us to go steal the ruby. She already knows this. And the Red Runners are currently outside of the city and will try and get into the city to take the ruby if
I don't
we are
think-
unsuccessful.
I don't think we need to sell out the elves and say they're right outside the city because the orcs are just going to go and slaughter them.
Well,
I mean,
That would really put a damper on our plan B, or
It would rather go rather poorly overall in a lot of ways.
all we need to say is that we are not the only group that has been sent to fetch the rubies.
Yeah,
But
just
have
let her
they-
know the Red Runners know that we're here, and if we take too long,
That we've been entrusted with it, but they will become impatient.
that they'll be behind us.
I think just saying we're not the only group that's looking for it, it's simple enough. We're not going to screw ourselves. Anything
And
where we
ideally-
if we try to string more than two sentences together regarding this, we stick our foot in our mouth.
Ideally, you'll be able to talk to them, to the runners tomorrow, and have them peace out.
Right. They may not. They may decide that they're going to go in and steal it, but
But then I
That's-
feel less at fault. They've
And
they've
really,
chosen there.
if we're gonna help her, if we believe what she's saying about these gems, then I don't see any reason why not. Because if she's right, the world's gonna end, and if she's wrong, we still collect a bunch of these elvish rubies that we can sell or give back or whatever.
aside
So I-
from offering a much better prize, is there anything that gives us any reason to believe her over the other elves?
At this
she's
time,
been-
no. But she's also been more forthright, which is what
She hasn't tried
appeals
to
to
take us around.
She's
Wow.
been completely honest from my point of view.
As
There is
far as
this
I can
room
tell,
here.
she's like, I own this soul that speaks only to me, and it's telling me that it wants to stay with me.
And
As far
that's
as
why I want to find out the truth.
So that was my previous comment of if we feed her suspicion and get better relations with her, there's a possibility that we could possibly talk
But
to
if we
her.
feed her suspicions and she slaughters our allies and turns out that she's the evil one.
Then we come back and slaughter her and the yellow-dyed whatever, regardless of demon or not. You see
But
Brain
we've
are like,
also, but we've also still killed our allies.
I love this plan. I'm happy to be a part of it. Let's do this.
From my point of view, you guys are throwing allies around way too liberally here.
I agree.
at the end of the day, yeah, this is money. I really hate to say this. It's whoever's got the biggest gem and killing demons, sign me up.
Killing
I have-
demons, and
I
as
have
far
a
as I'm
big gem.
concerned, the elves put us through a bunch of double talk, a bunch of little trials, and a big show and dance. She just told us straight up what was going on.
And offered us money.
And offered us money.
And free passage to get the heck out of here if we need to through orc territories.
And room and board.
The elves
So
gave
let's
us room and board, just so you know. Since you're
Spread
throwing
the
that in
elves
there.
to the wolves and see what happens.
Well, let's look at it this way. What's the downside of doing what she asks?
Nothing.
As far as I can tell.
Right.
That's the
What's-
hard part. As far
We
as
still
we
get the
can tell.
gem in the end of the day, too.
No, we
We
don't.
just have to make sure. Yes, we do, because she gives it to us.
No,
she
she
gives
won't.
it to us to put it in the crown.
No, she's going in. Oh, who's to
No,
say she
gonna make
doesn't
the
replace the crown?
She's going to make
Who's
the
to say-
crown, and then we're going to take it to the gate to shut it down.
Mikhail, I'm going to make a lore check about this
You're
crown legend.
making a lot of acceptance and belief in this one person as well.
Who's to
Since
say
you wanna
that she's
throw
not
us
going to
under the
use these souls to
Pushing it.
open some sort of tear in reality or whatever is going on and use it against us in the world? So
That hurt the brain.
Yep.
So can you put the crown together?
Maybe.
So maybe we don't give her the gems. Maybe you put it together.
If it has anything to do with blacksmithing, I can put it together.
Well, the crown
Regardless,
most likely of. Well, the crown. I wouldn't say most likely. The crown is a magical artifact of some kind.
yeah. I mean, we can look for more information while we're finding these other gems. Right? If we do the snatch and grab or whatever, we grab this one gem, we take it to the elves. That's it. We're out of this.
One trick pony.
Which again, I'm fine with because the elves will pay me. If we go with her, we have time to look into the veracity of her statements while we find these 6 or 7 other gems.
If it has anything even remotely to do with the Rust Brothers or Zigifer or any of the
I can promise
Bloody
you
demons.
that the Rust brothers are involved somehow because they've been active to the south, regardless if they are on her borders.
then we should honestly just tell her how it is, and worst case scenario, we've been in stickier messes and have to get ourselves out of it.
Why? At the end of this conversation, to try and end this damn conversation.
No,
Why do we
overthinking
have-
things is what gamers
why-
do.
Why do we have to tell her aught more? I know we're afraid that they're gonna make an attempt for it, but we're here in this room, in the barracks of the guards. If they think we had anything to do with it, we're much better at sneaking around and covering a large ground of territory past several guard posts than I think we're capable of. Why do we have to say a damn thing when we can try and tell the Red Runners to peace out tomorrow? And
And
then
what it-
decide if we have to tell her they're here.
That's a good plan. My fear is that the elves would actually be successful, and then we would have another gem that we need to track down.
Or they be successful and off with their heads, Red Queen style, no pun intended.
Well, if you're so keen on her veracity and her plain speaking and her getting straight to the point, that's not the play she makes. If you're going to trump those as virtues of hers, she's not just going to kill us out of hand because we were the messengers.
No, my fear is that the elves like. The
And
elves are
I could
obviously-
track them if they did it.
Okay, perfect. That's my fear is that we'll say like, yes, we're gonna go find all these, and then we'll go find 6 of them and come back and be like, oh, that one's gone. But if we can find it afterwards, then that's my only issue.
By the time we've assembled the rest of the gems, if we follow that path, I will have mastered the site. And
I
then
see no
can
downside to
much.
following that path.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, worst case scenario, we have more gems to return to the elves.
Yes.
I'm just
And or if we have to abort early, more information to act upon.
Exactly. We can also take that job with the other party to the south to scout out what's going on down there.
Precise.
All right. So it sounds like we're quasi in agreement.
Knife fight of a conversation later, yes.
Yeah. But so we'll talk to the elves. We'll let them know. Are we going to let them know that, hey, this is what we think is going on?
We'll speak with them. I think we'd probably do better to make it almost more of a confrontational speech about what their full intent is and
honestly,
how they
it's
feel.
not that hard. Just tell them, like, we have the lead on many other souls. This is in your, benefit.
But then it becomes a half truth because we're not telling them the reason why we're pushing that way, and that's when they start to become suspicious of us. Instead,
is more.
Less is more has failed me all day today, Big. All
I am
day.
content to tell everybody the goddamn truth.
To be
When
fair,
instead,
to be fair to Big, Big hasn't done much of the talking today. And if there's someone who can talk, it's Big.
it's not Big.
I mean, let's also be cognizant of the fact that we don't know what the actual truth is.
No, and that's why I need to find out, and that's why I think we would do well to be at least moderately confrontational with the Red Runners.
Sure. And to be fair, if push comes to shove and weapons get drawn, I'd rather take out 3 or 4 elves than an entire city full of orcs.
Especially when
I
you know
also
the
concur.
orcs will help you if it comes down to it.
So,
As much as I hate to say those words.
Of course, picking a fight with an ent could be interesting.
Well, that's part of where the orcs come in. It's like, we got them started, you guys can finish it, bye.
well, if you guys want to figure out what exactly you want to tell the elves,
I think we can sleep on that.
yeah, I'm good with that. But let's bear in mind the fact that all of us are not people, except for Big. So
Speak for yourself.
So maybe it might be an idea to work out what exactly we're going to say through her.
I'm better at reading people than I am talking to people.
Yeah, I'm not good at either, so.
So let's let Big explain what we're gonna do then.
But Big has to be on board
Right?
with what we want to do as a party, because otherwise Big will just do what Big wants.
I'm also okay with that.
Unsurprised.
So what are you, is anyone telling anything right now, or are you just taking the rest of the day off?
I'm taking the day off.
Big should probably go let Soria know that we are willing to take her job.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
And I will go with Big to make sure that she is safe.
I need a little riding harness so I can just pot you around town.
Would
Put you on my shoulders.
be totally possible, size-wise. All right, so I suppose you will talk to one of the orc guards, and again, for the 3rd time this day, get to have a short audience with the Empress. Will she be receiving them in the same chamber again?
Yes. I assume it hasn't been that long has passed, so.
No, not too long. No. So yes, there will be Frida the Wolfkin and Big the Halfling who comes to you.
With all appropriate finery, I will bow again and introduce myself again, needlessly, of course. But such is courtesy and protocol. Some people enjoy that sort of thing. I do, at least. But I would definitely let her know I'm here to let you know that we've graciously accepted your most generous offer of gold and passage, and I think you mentioned gold and other things in lieu of performing your task and reclaiming those souls to where they belong, so we can unite them in a crown and get gold. I mean, and to seal the gate of such.
I see. And all your troop is in agreement?
Yeah, we've come to a general consensus.
The rest of our troop mostly just needed rest. They we're not a trusting sort.
Well, that spell casting can really take it out of someone.
Yes.
I see. So, good. Two things. Since you have just met me and I have just met you, and I want to assure that we are both on the same page and that you are also not being sent by the sorceress. To begin, I will give you this information. The Rust Brothers have attacked to the south. There is a lumber mill named Voltag. I would like it if you, as you head that way, clear them out so that the orcs can retake it, and I will send you with a group of soldiers to assist. Additionally, for the other gemstones, there is a green one, and her name is Viridia. I don't know where she is. There is another one named Algored, who was purported to have went to the humans and is somewhere in human lands. However, the crown itself, the Staningist, is likely still with the Red Runners in Thamarin, or deep in the Dankwood Forest, or in the Still Mist north of the forest. So, if you are working for the elves and you encounter the Red Runners, take this letter, and she hands you a letter that I have written, and please give it to the big tree gentleman, Kalman. And is there anything else that you require before you depart? You can let my people know, and we will do our best to provide it with you before you leave.
Thank you, my most gracious hostess.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
There is one more thing. I would like very much if Frida is your name, yes?
Yes.
I like you. You will swear on your honor that you will do this thing to help protect this world from demons. And the gold is between you and me and everything else. But you will swear this on your honor.
I swear on my honor that I will do what I can to protect this world from demons.
Excellent. Let me know tomorrow if you require anything else.
Brennar didn't hear that, and that's probably a good thing. So Brennar and Celestial are apparently taking a nap the rest of the afternoon or early evening, because they are exhausted and tired after.
If I earn some more XP, I can just learn something on my own rather than needing a teacher.
Yes, if you did, and so on. You're all, sleepy, obviously.
Frida is avoiding the orcish horde. Just, yeah.
Alright, that was a
Or-
challenge.
Before turning in to get some rest, I am going to see if this keep has a shooting range or anything.
It would, yeah. It's in the courtyard. That's where most of the general practicing swordsmanship, weapons mastery is going on anyway. So there's both archery range and dummies to fight against, wooden dummies to fight against.
Thank
to-
God for
Orcish dummies to
clarifying.
fight
I was
again.
worried that I was standing there.
Hmm?
Thanks for clarifying. I was worried I was standing there being attacked.
No. They're easily avoidable.
So I'm going to get some practice in and see if I can't pick up the sharpshooter
Mhm.
talent.
You can do that. Do you have a teacher for that? No. That means.
Not unless there's one here.
I mean, I guess there could be one. There's enough martially proficient orcs here, for sure, in any type of weapon capacity. This is, after all, the Eye of the Rose, which is the center of this particular orc society. The question is, do they want to teach you? Like,
I will teach, if any of them need to, I will show them how to more quickly load their bows and their slings, like how to quickly notch and fire. So basically I can train them. I've got fast shooter level 1.
right. Yeah, that's a good trade. They'd accept that.
And Brainer is actually going to go out in the courtyard and look for where they basically keep their rotten meat and all that lovely stuff. Because, just looking around the courtyard and maybe go to the kitchen or something.
Yeah, because you're just looking for that.
New in town. Where's your abattoir?
There will definitely be
exactly.
scraps somewhere. I mean, if you look at this big bonfire here in the middle, they're cooking things over there, and there will be scraps that nobody's using. So I'm sure that you can pick something up there. Though I'm also sure there's plenty of animals that will eat whatever scraps land there as fast as they can.
I will actually be looking for Brainard to talk to him about our discussion with her.
Probably a bad idea. DM, I'm going to try and use my experience points to learn by myself Death Magic level 1.
Ooh.
Ooh. 9 XP. Ooh.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun if,
Well, that's a
she shows
wits
up.
roll, isn't it? There we go. Because you're
Yeah,
playing for
yeah,
yourself,
this is going to be great.
and you have so many wits right now.
Yep.
Like what? 2?
Yep.
I know what I'm gonna do since I've been left alone.
That didn't work.
Nope. Can't.
I can understand the temptation of the necromancy.
Can I activate? I can't activate Pride trying to learn something, can I?
What's your pride?
Nothing scares me as I've seen Beyond the Veil.
Not sure that would be applicable as such, but it's a skill roll. It's a skill roll, so
Okay.
this is not a skill roll.
After everyone's kind of cleared away and went off to their own things, I'll since this all looks like slums, I'll wander around town and see if there's anybody in dire straits. Now that nobody's around to see what I can do, I'll try to help the needy and things like that.
Yeah, there's so many people milling about. I think quite a few of the orcs just don't even pay any attention to Big because halfling, sure. Those who do are they give her an astonished sort of look because there she's walking around in the muck with bare feet. If you can see them, I don't know. Is she wearing a long dress that hides the feet? I don't know.
Oh, probably not. I'm proud of my feet.
Oh, okay. So they will not have seen a halfling very often in these parts, so that's going to attract some attention. But other than that, they don't seem terribly curious about her at all. You'll notice that most of the smaller orcs that you see around here, they're always busy working with something that is menial. They're carrying heavy loads. They're running with water buckets. They're carrying wood to the fires. They're chopping up more woods to the fires. They're picking up garbage from the bigger orcs. All sorts of things that they're doing. So maybe for the orcs, size does matter in terms of status.
Yeah, then I'm pretty much literally low on the totem pole in that case then.
Yes, that could very well be the case, which could explain why they're not paying too much heed to you. But yeah, you're walking around there. You will see these. I've already described the traders and so on, the peddlers who are here. Everybody's going about doing their typical business in the life of a castle, and that's what you see. Yeah, Brennar, you're devoting the afternoon to the study of magic as best as you can, and being frustrated, probably because you're so tired. That's got to be it, right?
That's totally it. He's taking out his frustrations totally at these random animal parts.
Brennan, what are you doing?
Trying to figure out things.
He's waving his hands about over these pieces of meat and nothing happens.
Yeah.
If you wanted to learn how to cook, I could teach you. And there's better food in the kitchen.
I couldn't find their kitchen. That is totally a lie. Hold on.
I wouldn't even roll at this point. Frida believes you blindly.
Scrolling around,
Even alive that
waving
bad.
intros everywhere.
She really does. He's saved her life as far as she's concerned. She believes him blindly.
And Celestial is using his time for other things. Have you rolled for that?
No, I was waiting to make sure you saw.
I saw it.
I didn't want to interrupt because
No, that's fine.
I've had more talking time than a lot. Not that I've got many dice either right now. But
No, you're so exhausted.
No, okay.
Nope.
Not this time.
Not this time. Too tired.
But I have a lot of thinking to do anyway.
Indeed. And so the afternoon passes, with you doing all these different training activities, and I suppose you're going to sleep this night soundly.
Yeah.
Because a lot of you need it, and certainly if you don't, you'll actually take a wit's point of damage, because it has been a day without sleep. Big is fine and fresh as far as I can tell. Brainard does need some sleep, so does Celestial for sure, but Celestial has to decide which one track to heal.
Wits.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Frida,
Since they've
yeah, you
agreed
can
to work with me,
Mhm.
can I set them up with some nicer accommodations too?
absolutely
in
you
the
can.
keep? Thank
I
you.
told you guys the room was slight.
You can put them in the central keep if you want. There is a library as well. You could put them there. The library is,
library.
by the way, is let's see now. I have to scroll a bit. To
I'd be a
find my
little too concerned with the library with how active that gentleman was on taking my book as a gift.
map.
He
Fair
might
enough.
take all the books, so we'll just go with the central keep area. They can, find a better location to rest.
Fair enough. So you'll then be housed in this house, this tower, which is the same one where the royal family resides, though I'm sure you will be on a different level, very far removed from the actual royals. And as you sleep, Celestial.
Uh-oh. I tried to sink lower.
You dream this night.
Okay.
You find yourself sitting in a forest that looks... You can't really tell in the dream. Everything is almost like you're watching the forest through a wall of water, turning back and forth like seaweeds on the bottom of the ocean. It could be the Foylan Mark Woods. It could be the Dank Woods. They're so similar in this dream. You will also see a wall that is either the main battlements of the Eye of the Rose, as it looked like centuries ago, or it's the wall around Thamorin, but you can't be sure of which. But as you're walking close to it and almost touching this wall with its magnificent mosaics, you will see an elven woman standing there by one of the trees and looking at you. Your name is Celestial Passage, is it not? She says.
Yes, that is my name.
It's really hard to place her face or appearance. This is a dream, after all, and it seems to shift all the time as you look at her. My name is Iridna. I am the ruby you seek.
I am honored to meet you, even in this place of places.
I came here because I chose to come here. You have elven blood, I believe.
Yes, I'm half elven of the Elven Spring.
Then we are kin, although distantly related. You spoke to the Empress today.
I did, and I misspoke to the Empress today as well.
I heard every word. Did Kalman send you?
Out of character? I'm...
Not that you know of. You've been
yeah,
talking
I was
to
like,
the...
that name does not ring a bell,
No,
but
it
I
doesn't.
might be tired, personally.
Oh, you've heard of that name?
Yeah.
And I can give you the legend again, because you did hear
Mm.
people talking about the legend of Kalman Rodenfeld, but you haven't met him as far as you know. You met some kind of council.
No, I've never met anyone of that stature. We were directed here by a council.
I see. Did they wear red stars?
The Red Runners.
Yes. So Kalman then, after all. I would think, if he's still with us. This is a difficult time. I'm happy that the blood mist is gone, but what I've heard about the Rust brothers to the south is very alarming to me. What the Empress have been telling you is the truth, at least as far as I know it. But I have been here with the orcs now for centuries. I don't know what has happened in the Dankwood since.
For what I know, they've isolated themselves.
Maybe that is
Pulled
for the
back
best.
and driven off intruders.
I do not want the two kin to be at each other's throats. I do not want a war between orcs and elves. We should unite against them instead.
Absolutely, we have too many troubles to be at each other's throats over ultimately petty squabbles.
You will tell them that then,
I shall.
to stay their hand. How do they even know that I am still here? I took care to make them think I was destroyed.
Word or divinations, or just the shifting currents of our times right now.
She looks a bit sad and sighs. No one can stay hidden forever, huh?
No, nor should anyone have to stay hidden forever.
That is the truth. If I can give you any advice or guidance on how to find my siblings, I will do so. But as I said, I have been here with the Urher clan for centuries. I am ready to go with you on your quest, should it be required.
I don't believe it should be, but that might be something. That might almost be enough to stay the hands of other impatient people.
Make no mistake, Empress Soria is wise. She's a good leader for her people. I am very happy to be her advisor, and privileged, in fact, to be so. I am paying off a blood debt of our people, of our kin. She's absolutely true. What we did to the orcs, we have a lot of amends to make. And I'm afraid that many of my kin will not understand, do not want to understand. They will be enraged if I try to tell them. That is why I've been hiding here.
Now, such is the lot of those who seek to be the peacemaker, when so blinded by doctrine and history that has become faith.
Yes. If those belligerent among the Red Runners get their say, and they know that I am here, blood might get spilt. I worry about that. But I have not been outside this area for a long time, as I've said. You will know their minds better than I do right now. What do you think? What awaits us?
I have hope, but it's tempered by the games that we've been drawn into.
Indeed.
I did not feel that the intent was to draw you forth to spirit you away and destroy you, to end you.
Oh, I have no doubt that my kin would spare my life. They would certainly not destroy me. We don't do that to each other, at least not lightly. I'm less certain that they would heed my words and my advice should they take me. But I'm not sure. I have not seen them for centuries. I'll have to rely on you for this, Celestial.
It's a heavy burden, but I understand and can appreciate it.
I will speak to the Empress as well. And that way you and her can confer on this and decide on a course of action together that causes the least harm between orcs and elves, while we unite against the Rust Brothers.
I appreciate that. I'll have to devote my energies swifter towards trying to stay the hands and to find out their intent and hopefully guide them to a peaceable, united solution.
Very good. I will leave you to your sleep then.
Thank you.
And she sort of just passes into the forest, and then the forest also dissolves, and you're back into your regular dreams again. And so passes the rest of the night.
And when you feel guilty after sleep, you know you had a vision.
And so morning, dawn comes. And here you are waking up, refreshed, and no longer sleepy.
Oh, goddamn! I'm still in a place.
You are still in a place.
Not for much longer, Soren. We'll be in a different place soon enough.
All right. So, how'd it go when you guys went to talk to the Empress?
It went pretty well. She's, from what I understand, is planning on devoting some of her troops and resources to aid us in our quest. We also received a letter for a tree, which is always a beneficial thing.
She gave us some more information on places where the Rust Brothers have hidden. There's a lumber mill, and she told us where some of the other gems were. There's a green one named what was it called again, Big?
Veridig?
Yeah. And then there's another one that's hidden among the humans.
Or Viridia?
What was the one hidden among the humans called?
Algord?
Yeah. And she made me swear on my honor that I would help her eradicate demons.
Well, on that note, I believe some of us have pressing business that can't wait
I
too many
worded
bells.
it that I would swear on my honor that I would do everything in my power to eradicate demons, whether it helped her or not.
That's what you're doing anyway, so it doesn't seem like a big deal.
If I could ask you to save some of the morning's repast and drinks for me, I believe I'm going to go to the lower city.
I've got some right here in my pocket. You want some?
I mean the stuff they're going to serve us very shortly, when I'm not here.
Food is great. You'll love it. It's great.
Why are you going to the lower city?
To speak with erstwhile companions.
Okay. Do you want some help?
I don't believe it is required. If I need help, the orcs will likely be giving me help.
Can we just talk about this whole situation? I still have a bad taste in my mouth, and it's not from the mutton we had last night. This is feeling like a whole the enemy of my enemy is my friend sort of thing. Like we're being put between the elves with an orc army to wipe out somebody else's problem so they can just scour in through and destroy this, lands and conquer them from themselves. Do you see the state of this castle? It's a little dilapidated, and we're just going to waltz through the countryside, raping and pillaging on our way? This doesn't seem like our style.
We're not just waltzing through the countryside, raping and pillaging. We are collecting stones to close the demon gate.
Finding the fate of the stones and then trying to collect them.
With an orc army at our heels, and this time on our side.
Take an orc army. I think we'll work better on our own.
We're not taking the whole army. She offered a couple of soldiers if we needed it. We probably don't need it.
No, we'd probably be better off taking simply like pack animals and gear and storage.
Yeah, soldiers are only going to get in our way.
Did they mention anything about the location of the crown?
Yes.
Yeah, it's still with the elves.
And that's part of why I need to go speak with them.
Agreed. Well, while you're doing that, maybe the rest of us can make arrangements with the Empress for whatever we think we might need. I mean, if we're going to go south to just check on what the Rust Brothers are up to, I don't think taking orcs with us is going to go over well if we're spotted.
It's definitely, according to rumor, better to have mostly humans in Rust Brother lands.
Yeah, well, that's just me. So,
Yep.
I mean, at least for the most part, Bernard and myself can conceal some of our indicators of our mixed heritage.
I mean, if we found a really sharp knife, we could like shave Frida.
I already suggested it, and apparently that's a bad idea.
Okay. Well, if we both come up with it, it can't be a bad idea. It's an ill thought out idea, but it's not a bad idea. But yeah, we can see if we can arrange for any gear or a pack animal or something to bring along with us.
That saddle idea is becoming more and more beneficial, isn't it?
Celestial, are you going ahead right away down to the lower city, as it were?
Yeah, it didn't feel like something that should be left to sit.
Fair enough. Anyone else coming with him?
I have a letter to deliver, so I guess I'll come too.
Okay. Two of you.
Is there any gear that either of you would like us to request?
I could use some more arrows as I learn to be a better archer.
All right.
Otherwise, just supplies, as we would need.
Do we want to see if there's riding horses, or do we just want to take like a pack animal?
If there's
horse would be so nice.
It's nice and it's faster, but we do have to adjust our...
I don't know if I can fit in a horse.
If an orc can fit in a horse, you probably could.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what they have to offer. You guys are okay for like armor or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably look into reacquiring our weapons that we came in with, just to make sure.
Oh yeah, those are ours. I mean, from what I've seen, the orcs here seem to be fairly honorable, and they told us we could have them when we left, so I see no reason why they wouldn't give them back. Right. So I think that's, at the very least, that's what I will be doing while Celestial and Big go and talk to the elves.
Yeah, I'll probably go with Soren, as also want to see if there's any type of magic users in the city other than her.
I will also go with Soren. I would like to take a look over their armory, see if we can upgrade anything.
So, meanwhile, Celestial and Big are heading out of the Great Keep and down towards the supposed meeting place. It's going to be a little bit of a walk, of course, but you're going downhill. And on this morning, let's see, weather roll, because I always have to do one. Let's see now, right there, that gives us, it's actually slightly raining this morning, slight drizzle.
I feel refreshed.
Yes. And yeah, you will find yourself going down to the ruined city below the keep itself. And this is, as you can see, quite the size of a city. It's almost like, for our standards, walking into Pompeii, except the walls, the murals are not intact at all, having been exposed to the weather for centuries. Still some patches of paint here and there, maybe some mosaics that are still intact, but a lot of the roofs have caved in. There's lots of orcs who live down here who have put up makeshift shelters in place of the roofs that were once there, and use the houses now for their own ends. But there's also a lot of overgrown areas, yards, grass that is popping up between the stones that were once making up the pavement for the streets. And sure enough, eventually you'll find what was once a park, but is now wilderness. Centuries of growth here. And apparently the orcs are staying away from it, because it's just brambles and bushes. You'll almost have to force your way through the undergrowth to get in there. And after just about a minute or two of trudging through these thickets, you leave the noises of the lower city behind. And as you do, you can see, in fact, you get to almost to the wall of the mountain, on top of which you can see the edges of the walls of the Eye of the Rose high above you. And this is just as the first rays of sun are coming over the horizon, marking the start of a new day. And there you find them, the Red Runners. They're all together, they are all packed up, and you can see Mergolane herself. She's raised her hands into some kind of invocation just as you come in to the clearing. And she stops herself. There you are! We were just starting. And you can see Alsurso. He's staring at you, really glaring. He seems... his eyes are just shooting hatred towards you guys.
What is with the hatred?
You have betrayed us, haven't you? Says Alsurso. Why are you so late? What other explanation is there?
If we had betrayed you, this place would have been crawling with orcs hours ago.
I don't trust them, he says. We should attack now, when we can.
Do not. There's no need to attack them.
No need to... See?
Nothing...
They are faithless! We can't
There's
trust people mingled with lesser beings' bloods.
There's nothing to be gained for our kin by starting a battle here now.
Our kin? You're not of my kin, he says.
Perhaps I'm more of your kin than you are with that rage you express.
Oh, that gets him going.
Shots fired.
Exactly.
I did kind of sleep a certain way last night.
Yeah, he sort of just shakes back his long silvery hair. Right. His hand goes to his broadsword. I
hold out my arms wide.
He's sort of looking sideways towards his leader Ulmaya. Those kinds of words demand satisfaction. What news do you have for us? Ulmaya finally breaks her silence. She's raising her hand towards Alsurso. Before this goes any further, what news do you have for us? She says.
Iridne is currently safe.
Lies, says Alsurso.
I spoke with her myself last night in my dreams. She reached out to me.
I cannot detect any lies, says Mergolene. I can even roll for her if you want, but obviously you're not lying, so...
No, I'm not lying.
Yeah, if you had, she wouldn't have noticed.
Wow. Where was that roll when I was talking to the Empress? Jeez.
Exactly. I think he's being honest, says Mergolene.
There's so much at work here.
Do tell.
The sorcerer or sorceress that the Rust brothers in the south have aligned with have made attempts in this region as well recently. The Empress guides her husband and their kin to try and make peace and become more unified with all of their neighbors because of the danger of the Rust brothers and the sorcerer in the south.
That's not the same as peace, says Alsurso. That's just the orcs becoming a greater threat. Could you be quiet for once, says Mergolene. Stay your hand and your tongue. We need to know this.
As history and the history of those involved would also say, Eridne believes believes that the Empress would have peace, but we also have to try and find her brother and sister, to re-imbue the crown to seal the gate.
The crown? You know of the crown?
I have some of the crown. I don't know all of it. I haven't had the time to meditate upon it since recovering from the harsh truths of last night.
Is this Eridne speaking to you, or is it Soria?
Here's Eridne.
She wants to reunite the crown.
Soria speaks of using the crown. Eridne accepts that it is a necessity because Soria does not lie in this. To the point that Eridne is willing to travel with myself and my companions out of this place to find the other souls.
Ulmaya and Murgaline are looking at each other with very meaningful glances. They clearly understand what you're talking about, and they're not trying to hide it. Does she know where it is?
The Empress believes that it is in Thamarin or still deep somewhere in the Dankwood, or even the Still Mist.
They look at each other again. Ulmaya will... That crown is an elven artifact.
Yes.
It does not belong with orcs. It is ours.
The intent is not to claim it as their own. The truth that was given to us by Soria and confirmed by Eridne as I slept is that the entire purpose of the crown is to be made whole so that we can close the void.
Big would step up. This is probably a good opportunity for us all to work together to unite this crown and, not have faction against faction.
For the good of the whole Ravenlands.
The void, says Ulmaya, and Margoline almost in unison. What void?
At which the demons have been slipping from, falling out of. The Protonexus.
The Protonexus? They're looking at each other. It's clear that they're processing a whole lot of information that... Margoline turns towards you. We do not have the Stanangis crown anymore. Alcir says, don't tell them anything! They do not deserve to know any of our secrets. Margoline looks to Ulmaya, and she will just nod to Margoline and raise her hand towards Alcirso. Continue. We do not have the crown anymore. It was taken a long, long time ago. Centuries ago. I don't know where it is. Kalman might. We've looked for it for centuries, you understand?
We believe from the information that we got from the orcs that it is somewhere possibly deep in the Dankwood, of all places. I do have this letter. Maybe this will be some use.
Ulmaya will take it, and she will in fact read it.
Where better place to hide it than where you would not expect to actually find it?
Why are we not attacking, says Alcirso. Because this changes things, my love, says Ulmaya.
Sometimes discretion is the better part of valor.
Why don't we have Big roll a manipulation roll, please?
Sure.
That is, after all, what you're for. I'm going to give you in fact, 3 extra skill dice for all the new information and support from Celestial Passage about this, because you just gave them a ton of interesting news. Okay. I think it is, in fact, Beeg's charming personality, and completely harmless such. I mean, she looks like innocence herself. Her stature, her am I going to say her rosy cheeks? I'm not even sure. She's as non-threatening as you can get as a halfling. You know, she's
so completely disarming after I dropped truth bombs on that guy all day.
Yes, and I mean, if you compare the contrast to Frida, who is a combat monster, it couldn't be greater.
Monster.
It's hard even for Alsurso to keep his hate going against someone who's so completely unthreatening, and Ulmaya will take her word for it at this point. So she's in fact going to tell Alsurso to take his hand off the hilt of his sword, because a duel at this point against either of you would be screamingly unfair.
I appreciate it.
And nowhere near any type of honorable or dignified action.
Frida would find him and rip him apart.
Yeah, I don't think he's worried about that part. Or
doesn't matter what happened.
It would just kind of fuel his hate even more. But I mean, I think Ulmaya would have allowed the duel had Frida been there, and you would have had to duke it out. But given, you know, who we have here, which is, you know, Celestial Passage, who is as far as from a fighter as you can get, and Big, there's just no match here. There's no honor. There's no dignity at all.
He could use me as a club to beat Celestial Passage.
Pretty much.
And would still handily win.
And would.
Big is even further, like the one step below possibly get below Celestial Passage from being a fighter.
Yeah, absolutely. You've chosen the 2 least aggressive and fighter capable people of the group.
Well, he might have done that on purpose.
I was gonna say there was one reason I didn't speak out against Big coming with me, and it wasn't just the stats. The stats are nice, though. The stats are nice.
There's a reason he told Frida to stay home.
Yeah.
You can see that Ulmaya is really hesitating here, and Alsurso has some kind of emotional bond with her, and is pulling on it. But at the same time, the ramifications of going forth with a charge now, given everything, elvish patience wins. Very well, says Ulmaya. We will not launch the attack this morning, as we had planned. In fact, we were just about to invoke the fog when you came. We will take this message back to Kalman. But I warn you, if you betray the Red Runners, we will never forget that. And you both know that we live a very long time. We have time on our side.
Yes.
Iridna is our kin. We will not abandon her.
At this time, Iridna does not wish to come home.
I should wish to hear that from her herself. Is it possible to arrange that?
I can try. I cannot promise. As I said, I was surprised that she chose to spoke with me last evening.
Very well. We will stay our hand for now. We will not leave this area just yet. For if you can, allow me to have a conversation with Iridna. That would be very helpful. And good for building our trust.
I can but ask, and perhaps Iridna will reach out. And we won't have to move.
Very good. Alsurso, stay your hand. You can see that his knuckles are just white at this point. He's almost shivering with anger. But there is that, Clotilda is there to keep order, if nothing else. She is, in fact, there. The end. And, yeah, he's not going to do anything. It's clear that what's staying his hand is his lover's word at this point. Very well. We will stay here until tomorrow. And hopefully you can get us in contact with Aridna herself.
I will do what I can. You should hear soon enough.
Good. They will betray us. They will send all the orcs here, whispers Alsusu as you're leaving.
Back of my head, I've been doing everything to prevent others in our group from having exactly that happen.
And so you ascend up to the castle again. Apparently for now, having avoided disaster with Red Runners attacking orcs and potentially the blood of both orcs and elves spilled today. And you will go up back to the Eye of the Rose. What will you have the time to do one final thing before we wrap for tonight. We're approaching on 11 our time here in Atlantic Canada.
I wanted to take Frida and Brainer, I guess, and talk to the Empress or to one of her lackeys and see if we can't get outfitted with some better gear.
For sure. I'm sure the Empress would agree to some of that.
We're not looking for anything extravagant. If time is of the essence, riding horses would be. And I'll kind of look at the rest and I'll be like, "Can you guys ride?"
I can mostly ride. I mean, I'm strong enough to stay on a horse.
These old bones can take it.
Alright. So you can at least sit on the horse and not fall off.
Theoretically.
Yes.
Excellent. Alright. So if we can get riding horses for... If we got 4, Big should be able to ride with somebody else.
Does the whole party come back to Soria, or is it just you minus who all comes?
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Soren, Frida, and Brainer. We're going to be doing this while the others are talking to the elves.
Right. I can provide you with mounts. I can provide you with some provisions so you have food while you travel.
Excellent.
And I will give you this. It's a rolled up piece of paper she hands you, well, parchment or whatever, probably leather, and on it is the official mark of the Urhur, basically granting you safe passage. She says, is there a name for your little party or troop?
Not really. People keep calling us demon slayers.
Demon Slayers is a good name.
No, it's not.
Writes,
It's a shitty ass name.
she takes the vellum and she scratches on there the name of Frida the Demon Slayer and friends and hands it back to you.
Alright.
That's a band name.
If we're going to have our name on things, let's not advertise that we're badass. Let's just say, these schmucks.
It is also very important that you recognize that you are under the employ of Haroka, Emperor first and the greatest of his name.
Yes.
And that I will provide for you information as we go forward, and you will send such information back to me via messengers.
Okay.
Pretty much any orc, if you show them this, should be able to carry a message eventually my way.
Okay. We would also like to look over your weapons if that's possible.
Okay.
Some of ours are getting broken.
Oh. Good.
And-
I'll show you to where there's a smith that works in the workshop. I'll Two Beards, Mikkel. I'll take
Yeah.
I'll let them talk with Two Beards when they want to do any kind of repairs or things they need.
Yeah, for sure. That's an interesting place. Or you're showing them that place, I guess?
Well, no, I'm calling Two Beards up.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so there will in fact be a dwarf who is summoned to attend to you. He's gruff. He has his beard collected in 2 nice braids, hence his name. He speaks in very short sentences, yeses and nos mostly.
He's a very talented smith. And is there anything else you require?
No, I think that's it. Brenner?
If it's possible, and I know just your previous issue with requiring a druid in general, is there any casters in the city outside of the ones here
No.
present?
No. In fact, your druid friend, when he returns, or yourself, if you find any other signs of corruption here during your stay, please let me know. I believe I do want to leave you with this. The sorcerer that I spoke of, if it is the same sorcerer that dealt with the Proto-Nexus in the past, the name is Zytera. That is what I have been told by the elf.
Thank you.
And, don't forget about trying to remove them from the lumber mill. As you venture south, you'll know that there are 3 clans of us orcs. The Urhur are one. There are 2 others. They usually will accept my favor, but they may not be as inclined as the Urhur. We are doing our best to unite under one banner, but we have some resistance. So any aid that you can provide on bringing all of the kin together against this united threat, I will continue that work diligently myself.
So I might have to do some more duels.
Alright. You may have covered this earlier when Big and Freda spoke with you. Is there like a starting position for anything? Like, should we head south to see what the Rust Brothers are up to first? Never mind, we'll figure it out.
I think you should head directly south. It's not that long of a travel to the lumber mill, and that may provide some insight there. Additionally, and I'm not sure if it's related, there is a village near the river that was recently received some trouble. And my thought is that might be something further there. As I said, I believe that if it is Zytera and the Rust Brothers, I believe they intend to divide us. Mikhail, can you remind me the name of the city by the lake that fell?
Are we talking about? Let's see. Sorry, it's also late for me.
There's a village just northeast of the Eye by the lake that it fell to fire and stuff like that, but I didn't know why.
So historically, you will know about Whaler's Hold, that was a dwarven city, which is far to the southeast. That is now a ruin. And of course, this place that you're in was once an elven city that was destroyed by the Rust Brothers during the Older Wars.
No, this
ago.
just happened like a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay. That one. Yes, Voltag. Yes.
No, not the lumber mill, the one by the lake.
There wasn't
us.
so much a city as just a skirmish in the woods, if you will. But you will know the location.
There was a bunch of fire not too long ago to the northwest.
It's far to the south. Far to the south, to be precise. I can mark it on the map there. I can give you the location.
Sounds like our first order of business then will be to head south.
Lumber mill.
Yeah.
I know that they are there, and they have pushed back and taken that location away from my kin. But if you were to remove the Rust Brothers, we would be able to reoccupy it. Fort Riverstone was what I was talking about. By the lake.
Yes.
Oh, that was them.
That was us.
Oh.
Let's not say us. That was.
All right, that winner.
News of your activity precedes you then.
There were demons in the government.
I see.
How fitting for 2020.
Do you wish me to send with you a small unit of orcs, or perhaps Mog might be able to assist you?
No, we really work better alone.
Actually, one might not be a problem. My concern with traveling with the group is it's harder to move quietly and quickly as a group, and also my concern would be if orcs are sighted in Rust Brothers territory, that perhaps tensions might escalate.
Yeah, it's bad enough they've got me.
Mog can travel mostly undetected, and you can have her leave with your initial message if you would like.
Excellent.
Or you
Yeah.
can go
Yep.
by yourself. Okay.
We'll grab Mog.
And one of the things is it looks like, and I can't believe I'm saying these words, but it looks like you're civilized here, for lack of a better term. Do you have homing pigeons?
No.
Okay.
We send our letters via rider. I have many scouts.
Okay. Then if we have information to send it back to you, we will try to find one of your scouts.
Mm-hmm.
Can I also just say it's very nice to work with somebody who is direct and does not just beat around what they want.
Same.
All right.
Come two
Lisa.
beards. Let's go work in the smithy.
All right. He's to the point and loves his tools. Not really a
The
talkative
old men
person.
will get along well.
Yes, probably. I suppose Celestial and Big will return to the keep. Big will notice that Celestial starts hurrying up and starts going in all sorts of different bends and twists and turns.
I just got done typing to Michaela.
You're not taking a straight road back, let's just say.
Oh goodness no, and we come back from a different angle than the one we disappeared off of.
Did you want to close things off with a session with any news or communicate to anyone else, given the recent conversation you had?
Well, I would definitely like to speak briefly with the Empress and Eridne.
That sounds good.
What do you need?
I have convinced the other group to not take action. However,
What other group?
well, I'm sure you can surmise that we weren't here alone. We were just operating separately. However, she who's in charge of that group, hidden elsewhere, would have liked to hear from Eridne herself.
Would she now?
Yes.
She is welcome to present herself to my court as a diplomat. I will arrange for her stay, and she can take a nice slumber here, and we'll see if Eridne wants to speak with her.
I am uncertain if she would be willing to accept your gracious hospitality, as there are obviously, as there are amongst your own kin, there are militant members with her kin as well, who are less inclined to listen.
Well, you see, there are two options. Either she can come here and sleep under my hospitality and guardianship, or I can take a cadre of orcs down to her and she can sleep as we overlook them. I think that would be more awkward.
Yeah, absolutely. I will extend your offer.
She would be welcome here under my protection, but Eridne is difficult to speak with,
Yes.
unless you are dreaming.
And that's part of why I brought it forth, so Eridne would hear as well, in case she chooses to reach out and she not be under this roof, but near enough
Oh.
she could reach.
Do you think she came to you of her own accord?
I would hope that it was at least her own inclination.
I asked her to. But she is a free being, and if she wishes to leave, she will do so as well. I am not keeping her here by any means.
No, she did make that clear and did extend that she may travel with us potentially, depending on how things develop.
My advice is that she is safe here, and I have some concern if you take her and she is either lost to the Rust Brothers, which would be devastating, or her
Absolutely.
kin decide to take her home and hide her in a jail forever.
No, the majority of them seem willing to listen and consider the truth of the matter as opposed to the history that they've lived and ingrained into themselves. But I will pass it along. One of your handmaidens was following us.
Oh! That would be Mog. Did she cause much
That's-
trouble?
No, I did notice, and we had a merry dance for a little bit.
Good. She needs to be better then. I will tell her this.
Well, the sight is foremost amongst my gifts. So, can't always fault someone who's that skilled.
To make a long
Good.
story short, sorry.
Dance.
Exactly. Ulmaya will accept the invitation, but not herself, because she kind of needs to control
Yeah.
Alzurso, together with Clotilda.
So
and
Margaline?
Margoline will come. Margoline is, in this case, probably the best choice, being a druid and having no weapons, and also being the one who is most inclined to be open-minded towards the orcs in that entire group. So she will take up the offer and enjoy that hospitality during the night.
Yep.
Oh, good. I might actually be able to get some training if she's here.
You might, yes, indeed. You might. And that means that we're at 11 o'clock Atlantic time, everyone. And we'll have to wrap the session there. I will say that you have managed to avoid bloodshed between two kin, and that's going to give you an extra XP, because that is an extraordinary feat, and very much helped by someone's eloquence here. Big the Peacemaker, in fact.
Such a
But
big
also
peacemaker.
Celestial, of course, with his initiatives. Thank you so much, Steph, for guest playing here tonight. It was awesome to have you. Loved
Yes,
I
everything.
had
thank you,
such a
thank
great
you.
time.
It was
This
nice to
cloak
meet
is
the
really
Empress.
warm, by the way. Just exceptionally hot. And I'm like, I'm dying here.
I
No, this was
understand how you
fun.
feel. I used to wear a nice jacket, cosplay jacket with this.
I was super excited when he invited me to come here, and I was like, I have a cloak and everything. It's gonna be really cool.
It worked awesome.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
So
great.
anyway, I really appreciate you guys having me, and I hope you had a great time, because I really had a great time with you guys.
It
was great,
fun.
thank you.
It was awesome.
And the audience will know then that Empress Soria is one of the shadow players. So this, what I've been talking about before on the show, that we have a Discord with leaders of various factions plotting and planning and scheming and sending out their minions to do their bidding.
It's not just the Rust Brothers.
It's there is a lot of different factions on this board. And of course, followers have seen Empress Soria in an epilogue before. But if you haven't tuned in before, then yeah, because things happened in the Eye of the Rose before the adventurers arrived. Ta-da!
Like a murdered diplomat.
Dun, dun, dun.
I do not have an epilogue for you tonight, because I felt like this was quite intense plot developments enough. Big plot turning points, plot thickens indeed. And you might have noticed, players and audience as well, that the style on the map was very different tonight, which is why, the reason why is that it's straight out of Raven's Purge. You have just explored your first canonical and adventure site in this long campaign. At long last, you are now very much being dragged into the Raven's Purge. Exactly. So, with that, thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and we'll reconvene with the adventures in 2 weeks again.
Excellent.
So yes.
See you
Bye, everyone.
guys.
Good
Bye.
evening.